the birthplace of my father. Here you can see a small yellow cabin, and in this cabin my father worked. I don't know how it's called in English, but there you can see the tube in which coal goes into the carriage, and the freight train как сказать, доставляет yes, freight train deliver the coal in the different countries, in the different cities. So we can say that our city is industrial. Also, I want to show you my home. It's in the house block of flats. Also, I want to show you.
Excuse me, Diana?
Yes?
Where your arrow was pointing, is that where your apartment is? In the picture of your building, your apartment building, were you pointing to your apartment? Your pointer was on the screen, and I was trying to find out where in that building you live. Yeah. So is that the top floor, Diana?
What?
Is that the top floor? Do you live on the?
It's I live in the in the fourth floor.
Okay, on the fourth floor.
Yes. So also I want to show you the place where I love to rest in summer holidays. It's the lake which is situated on the territory of national park and protected by our government. So there you can see the lake, the beautiful mountains, and people like to have a rest there. So
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yes, it's very beautiful.
When I was a child, I went to mountains like this as well in the northwest of the United States. There's nothing quite like this in the Midwest where I live now, but this is beautiful.
So I work in this place. I worked in this place last summer. I was, как сказать, вожатый, я не знаю этого слова, вожатый в детском лагере. Firefighter. Не пожарный, не пожарный, а вожат. I worked with children.
Okay, so now you've confused me.
I was a leader and I worked with children on the territory of this area. So also in this place there is situated the residence of our president Nazarbayev. So here you can see his residence. And not long ago, about 3 years ago, Nazarbayev, the president of Kazakhstan, was in our city, and I was on this meeting. So we discussed the problems of different problems of children's life, of different problems of education. So it was very good time. But now I live in Omsk and I study in Omsk. It's very
Ну, я просто услышал, как конец, что не знаю, как слово вожатый.
Бедный наш здесь какие вам это нужно. Что, всего 2 человека?
3.
And so, what brings you?
Чем считаешь, что он себя считал джиннастом?
Okay. Question?
So now I live in Omsk, and I'm very glad that I have an opportunity to study in this city and to study in Russia at all. So,
and Diana, tell me, how did you come to study in Omsk?
How? By bus.
Okay, that isn't one answer possible, but I guess I want to know why you chose to come to Omsk.
Because this city close to Kazakhstan, so I can visit my parents, for example, once a month. But in my first place, in my city, I have no an opportunity to study in university, for example. There is no university, so that's why I moved to Omsk.
And how long have you lived in Omsk now?
3 years. I lived in Omsk about 3 years.
And where is it? What university do you go to?
It's not university. It's pedagogical college. I will be an English teacher.
Good. I think you're well on your way to being an English teacher.
Thank you.
I love hearing about where you live, and I enjoy the pictures a lot. And so you've lived in Omsk for 3 years. Oh. Tell me about this picture.
about this picture, you can see that that Omsk it's a very large city. There is different bridges which connected the branches берега, да? Branch or not?
Neighborhood?
Bank, which connected the banks. There is
bridges? I'm sorry, I'm still trying to catch up with you because I got lost with the Russian because I don't speak any Russian at all.
Oh, there is the bridges which connected the banks of the banks between the river Irtysh and Omka. Yes? Yes, there is two rivers, Irtysh and Omka.
And so sometimes I would say riverbank because there's also the bank where you put your money. It's an ambiguous word in English, bank. So
river banks?
Yes. And it can be one word or two. So I have another question about this, and so you have, we have two rivers in the city where I live, in Des Moines, and there are lots of businesses called Two Rivers because this is was an important trade route where they shipped things on barges to market. And so rivers are important, and we have several bridges as well, the bridges connecting the different parts of the city. So I'm so used to seeing pictures of Omsk covered in snow that this looks like a tropical paradise to me. It's a nice picture. So the main road, is that the one that goes on the diagonal across the picture?
The main road, there, I think.
So it has a sort of river view. It looks like there's a park along the bank of the river. Is that right? It looks like a park. Or just a small tree-covered area. Lenina Street? A building area. Okay. Anton, tell me about that building area. Are they building, they're going to take out the trees and put a building there?
So, as far as I know, this building is still in there, and the picture is quite old, I must say, maybe 2009 or so, according to some changes around here. But they haven't completed this building, and that's why they put some borders around the bridge, around the bus stop, and the only way you could go down, because here is our Omsk primary anti-cafe, is here. There's a small ladder. Yeah. Well, I could actually say a lot more about this picture. There are a lot of sites mentioned here, and I could show you particularly some of them.
Okay. And Professor Shestakov has marked his place. So this is this what you might call the downtown?
Yeah, that's exactly downtown, just the heart of the city. And here it is, just left bottom corner. Here is the origin of Omsk, the square of Bugals. That's where the Omsk was founded. Starting here. I couldn't show you the other picture. I just found it on the internet.
Okay.
And some presenters' rights.
To upload a picture, you should not have to have that. Try it and see, and otherwise we'll pass you the ball.
Yeah. I think I can show it as well. Just a moment. Yeah, here it is. You see?
See yet, but my pictures are loading slowly today, I would say. What is
But anyway, that's the square of Google. Yeah. And the previous picture was made somewhere in here, or maybe in here, because it was air filming. Well, the main feature of the Google Square is that thing. It's actually a big ball. Yeah. It was also made by well-known Kapralov, as I mentioned before, and that ball is showing some pieces of history, and it's also made of metal.
Anton, I wanted to stop you for a minute because I now am looking at a list of the pictures, and I wonder if you can tell me what the picture is called.
The picture is, this is a Bugel Square. Bugel. It's German, yeah. Bugel.
Okay, I'm looking at a list of Cyrillic, which I don't read.
The last one, it's called like that, yeah.
Okay, good.
11 Jezebel, yeah.
Okay.
11, and the next one is mine, yeah.
Okay.
There's Russian letters, yeah. No. Let's go right. I guess it should click an arrow. Yeah. No. Now, could you pass me the presenter's rights?
Okay, Diana, will you please drag the ball next to your name down to Anton? And we will come back to you if you have other things to show us.
Oh, thank you. Can you see it now?
Yes, I'm looking at a picture that has a very interesting, I guess, parking garage on the roof that has a spiral shape. Very interesting architecture, I think.
And this is the square of Bugels.
Ah, okay.
Bugels is the founder of Omsk, and as I mentioned, here's the iron balls. Yeah. It is showing some pieces of Omsk history. And here you can see our, how would it be? Some river station, and here used to be some boats floating, and now old history, I'm afraid. Yeah.
River station, that would be dock?
No, here it is. But now it's actually a cinema.
Ah, yes. Good to know.
And as you can see, here is Omsk, and here is a fish. So two rivers are connecting right in here. And there's also a memorial. There is a cannon with the boat. Yeah. Okay. Some more pictures I want to share. Oh yeah, I also mentioned some peculiar places like Prague, and here's another one. It's called Lubečka. Yeah. It is quite famous among the tourists who visit Omsk, and I guess citizens have a picture of it as well. I haven't seen it, I guess. Can you see?
Yes, I have seen this lady before, but I don't know about her. Professor Lero had a picture, took a picture of her when he was visiting Professor Shestakov in Omsk the summer before last. She's quite elegant.
Yeah, she's elegant. She was General Mayor's wife. General Mayor was the mayor of the city Omsk once, and she was his wife. Now we have a statue like this right in the city, in the center. Yeah.
So I wonder where the mayor was. He just left her sitting there by herself. That wasn't nice.
Well, actually, there was no general mayors after the revolution because they were all wiped out. Yeah. But the statue was fine, so abortion accepted. And she's carrying Pushkin's lyrics, Pushkin's poems.
Of hers?
No, Pushkin's poems by Alexander Pushkin.
Oh, yes, okay.
Russian poet, yeah.
Yes, I know Pushkin. I mean, I've read a tiny bit of Pushkin in translation.
Oh, that's great. Well, yeah, he was actually governor, but he had a rank as general mayor. Yeah.
Okay, so governor. These titles are difficult from one language to the other. We actually talk about them fairly often because of the problems of trying to figure that out. Wow, I think this is very interesting.
Yeah, there's another peculiar statue. It's called communal cushion. Yeah, communal cushion. Коммунальный карась.
And that looks like a very happy fish, although why that fish would be happy stuck in the building, I don't get it. Is it a sculpture?
I'm not sure, but it was mentioned that it is communal, so there are lots of people who live on its back. But I believe it's some sort of allusion to one of Pushkin's favorite tales about Tsar Gvidon. Maybe you have heard about it. There was also a fish with the city on its back. It might be an illusion. Yeah.
And could you put the name of this
sure.
in the chat?
Communal cushion. carp. Yeah.
Okay, are you ready to pass the baton back to Diana? And Diana, do you want, did you finish? I didn't mean to cut you off. And so, Vlad, you think that this is not the reality of what Omsk is like. Is that right, Vlad?
I'm sorry, what?
You wrote in the chat, I wish the photo of Omsk would reflect the reality.
Yeah.
And so, did you look at the photo essay that was in the discussion that Professor Shestakov posted?
No, I mean that many of photos, both Omsk and other cities, it doesn't matter, looks very, very impressive, much better than reality.
Oh,
and
yes.
and some people look at the photos and can say, "Wow, living in paradise," but in fact, sometimes it's different.
Yes. Well, I would agree. But when you're talking about your city, generally people do show the things that they're proud of rather than the things that they're not proud of.
Agree. Besides, I suppose that it's true for any city that there are some unpleasant news. But who cares about them?
Well, sometimes if nobody cares about them, they aren't changed, so you have to find a balance there. And Vlad, did you have any pictures that you would want to share with us that you haven't had a chance to share?
If you don't mind, I'm gonna focus on my own home. I didn't show last time.
Okay, I'd like to see them. And Anton has, I think, passed you the. Okay, let me.
I will share with you my presentation. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Sound disappeared. Does anybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
And we see the picture called My Home.
Yeah. So, first of all, I want to start with the view of part of my district where I live. Yeah, as Anton said, typical Russian yard. It's quite dirty, especially I made this photo today. Today was very raining day, and after the rain, it's especially dirty around, you know. So behind the store with the blue roof over here, this is my home.
Ah. And what floor do you live on?
Yes, I live on the third floor. This is my apartment. You will see this the closest white balcony to the right. So nothing special. It's a typical, the most common building, which was built in Soviet period, if I'm not mistaken, in 1984, and it was built specifically for workers of the oil industry to live close to work, because there are oil factories located close to us. And previously, this was a big empty field on this place.
Ah.
And for the short period, it was a lot of buildings going up on this place. And my house, located on the street Borodina, this street was named by famous Russian composer and scientific.
Borodin.
Yeah, very famous person of 19th century.
Yes, very interesting music. I like it.
So this is what I see every day when I go out of the entrance. This red brick house was built just a few months ago. This new building, and a lot of building was built around my district, and now space of my district has become smaller, and the worst thing that parking space has become less and less. And of course, this photo is not visible, but in the morning and evening time there's almost no free spaces, and people park cars on the road, on the lawns, and it's a problem for all big cities, I think. And I see it during 14 years I live here, and so situation becomes better and better. So
all this area,
yeah,
is parked. But did they park here too?
And here and here, everywhere. And one more picture. So there's all these spaces to become busy on the evening time when people, you know, come back from their job, vacation.
What is that you're pointing at?
About what?
Do you see where your pointer is on the picture, that little enclosed area?
Yeah, I mean, in general, every free space is what you can see on the photo. It will become busy on the morning and evening time when people at home.
Yes, I get that. What is that little brick building with the blue facade, blue door?
Yeah, it's very interesting question, because to my mind, this red store with a blue roof is a major supplier of alcohol to all local drunks, especially in summertime, when a lot of people buy and drink alcohol on the street, sometimes right under my windows, sometimes fighting and sing songs at 3 a.m. It's sometimes it's terrible, but it's
a liquor store.
Yeah, No, it's not liquor store. It's a store with some, you know, general general store with some kind of food. You know, like a little store. But
so would it be a store or a little cafe or a bar?
it's store.
Okay, so you could go there and buy
Whatever you want.
a liter of kefir on the way home if you wanted.
Sorry, what?
You could buy a liter of kefir on the way home if you wanted to.
Of course.
You say of course, but it's a big deal to buy kefir here. Now it's very chic. But
No.
but it's we would say stop on the way home and buy a quart of milk, just to put it in a different context. And a store like this, we would call a convenience store.
Convenient.
Oh, and if I could only spell it, we'd be in good shape here. A convenience store. And that would be a little place, sometimes called a corner market, but that's much less common. That's what we used to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little place in the neighborhood where you can buy things, but they're more expensive than if you go to the supermarket. So my other question is, just to the right of the yellow circle, there's an enclosed area, and it looks like there are maybe a couple of trash cans there.
Mm-hmm.
What is that enclosed area? That fenced-in place that's in front of the convenience store. Do you see what I'm talking about? This area right here.
Oh, yeah.
It's fenced in. What's it do?
So, a few years ago, on this place was лавочки. How to say?
Help me out. Benches.
Yes, benches. Yeah.
But now there aren't benches there.
Yes, that's the point. Last year, as I mentioned above, a lot of people bought alcohol in the store and sit over here and drunk, play guitar, music, and it happened time after time, every night, and a lot of people complained about it to police, and so they decided to remove these branches, but as you can see, there are still some places where you can sit and drink alcohol with no problem.
And so this is an interesting point, because you are not the only person that has pointed out the difficulty with what we would call public drunkenness.
Yes, that's one of the biggest problems in Russia.
And, it's not unknown here, but we arrest people and put them in jail for public drunkenness. Do you have laws against that?
We have some, just a little administrative, like if you will violate this law, you should just pay a little amount of money. But this is not the biggest problem, because in general there is not enough policemen who can observe areas like this, and a lot of policemen just don't care about people when people drunk, because there's a lot of people sometimes around, and nobody wants to put everybody to jail, for example. So it's a very complex question.
Yes, I see. Well, I guess, let's see. Let's talk about the other kind of place where people drink. That would be in bars.
Mm-hmm.
You have bars?
I can guess that there's not so widespread like in the United States, because as I can judge, in the United States you can find bar on every corner, but in Russia there's a few, maybe most. Now
I think we must have more laws governing the sale and use of liquor than you do. That's kind of my impression, but I don't really know. The sale of liquor is regulated. And taxed. So it's an important source of revenue.
As I understand, if American wants to get drunk, he going to the bar or pub. Russian can get drunk at home, on the street, in an espresso restaurant, whatever he wants.
People, in principle, you could do that here. Certainly, Anton put in the chat that bars are expensive,
yeah.
And they certainly are more expensive here. If I want to go in and have a martini in the restaurant, it's maybe twice or three times what it would cost me to make one at home. But it's a different experience. But going to get drunk in a bar is expensive. And college students, for example, don't usually go to bars to get drunk. They get a keg of beer, and they find a place, usually somebody's big old house, and everybody drinks it. We just had a party weekend on my street because there were something called the Drake Relays, a track and field event. It happens once a year, and it's a national competition. Lots of people travel from all over the United States to either participate in the Drake Relays or to observe as spectators. But it's also the biggest excuse to have a week-long drunk. And on my street, you know that I live close to the university campus, there were 4 houses where students live that had parties. They started on Thursday, and they drank, and so did the Drake relays. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there were events at the stadium. But there was also all this activity involving drinking beer, and it is mostly beer, on my street. We had to keep our cats in the house because they get so scared by all the people drinking on the street. So for us, it's a limited thing, and mostly the neighbors who are not at the party will call the police if it gets too noisy. And the police will come, and then they'll shut down the loud music, and they'll all go inside for a little while until the cops leave. And we know that this only happens 2 or 3 times a year on our street, so we try to be tolerant. But if they're really loud and obnoxious and maybe even dangerous, we would call the police. Usually we don't do that. So I understand how that might be, but not on a daily basis. And you know, my street looks different than this because we have what used to be called single-family dwellings. And so instead of apartment houses, we do have some of these, and I'll try to get some pictures of some apartment houses like this. There are a few in Des Moines, but Des Moines is not a big enough city for many people to live in this kind of urban sort of large apartment building. I have lived in houses like this in Spain and in France, but most places we have smaller houses where maybe 2 or 3 families would live. The exception then would be the big houses that are shared by several students who live on my block. So that's my experience. We have a different attitude, obviously, and a different law structure. It's the idea of police corruption is not common here. We Americans are very righteous, very much opposed to blatant bribes. So you can't just pay off the cop, which is against the law, and you would run the risk if you tried to bribe somebody of being arrested for trying to bribe a public official. And so it could be that our police are paid better than yours, or it could be simply the tradition that this is not okay to offer a bribe. And so I've never heard of anybody trying to bribe officials. And while we're talking about this picture, I have another question, and it's about these round green things in the foreground of the picture, that where I have my pointer now.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Yes, it's a wheel.
It's a wheel. Okay. So, yeah, it's in a flower bed.
Yes,
And so, is that decorative?
of course.
And will there be flowers there
Yes.
later in the spring? Okay.
Every yard has a wheel in the ground.
Okay.
It's a very popular in Russia.
Okay, I'm glad to know this because this is not known to me. We would have some sculptures. I think I may have showed you some sculptures of from the sculpture park in Des Moines. But let's see. I wanted to. Did you have more pictures to show, Vlad, or is that it?
Of course, I have.
Well,
if you don't mind, yes.
I think this is quite interesting, and I would invite everyone to continue to comment on the pictures. And it's okay if we don't get to the topic that was assigned for today. We will do it next week because I think it's really important. I am learning a lot about this, so of course I love it, but I know that that's not the goal. But also I think it helps you to talk about where you live and what that's like. Your building looks very familiar to me. It very much resembles an apartment house that I lived in a Madrid suburbs in the mid-70s, ancient history. So it looks very familiar to me. But the convenience store, the corner market there, that's a surprise. They had a whole, what we would call a strip mall, a whole row of little shops. And it would have been in a nearby street, but not here in the middle of the yard. So this is very interesting to me, but it has a certain familiarity but apartment houses in big cities, in my experience, big American cities are not like this, because what they don't have is this open yard area around the building. And I think someone from our Moscow class had said that there were some fire regulations which prevented the buildings from being closer together. Our house is very close to the house on either side of us, and that's more common in the city. If you saw any pictures of the Boston Marathon bombing, and if you looked at the buildings, they're quite close together. And that's a more common thing. So, okay, now I'm going to be quiet now, and if you want to show more pictures, I would like that.
But you know, I'm surprised because I didn't expect that it could be familiar for you, this building and this picture.
Well, and for most Americans, it would not be familiar. But I lived in Madrid for 2 years, from 1974 to 1976. And my husband was a Fulbright scholar, and he was studying in Spanish libraries. And I directed a year abroad program, American students coming to spend an academic year in Madrid. And I enjoyed it a lot. And I lived in a newer suburb of Madrid, and it looked very much like this. Except we didn't have those little decorative wheels, and we didn't have a place to drink like that. And of course, it was a dictatorship when I lived there. Francisco Franco had been dictator for 40 years when we lived there, and he died while we were there. And so it changed from a police state to a constitutional monarchy, and became very much more open. So that's why it's familiar to me.
Thank you. So let's talk about more pleasant things like my apartment. So I will start from my kitchen.
Ah, red. That's very pretty.
And this is my kitchen, or part of it. I will show you some photos because rooms in my apartment kind of small, and this kitchen is not too big, but very comfortable, and includes all stuff what you need. So even when I here sometimes, this place inspires me desire to cook, but I cook very, very seldom. First of all, because my mom works at home, and she always has time to cook. So that's why I'm so lazy about cook. Yes. One more picture of kitchen.
So
yeah.
let's see. I see the microwave.
Yeah.
Is that a regular oven?
Yeah.
That's cool. It's built into the wall, and so then you have a separate stovetop over here.
Mm-hmm.
And a corner sink. I like that a lot.
I like it. It's very convenient. Yes, we have TV on the kitchen, but I don't watch TV except for the news at the breakfast and dinner time. Just
ooh, doesn't that give you an ulcer? Watching news at mealtime?
Yes, when I wake up and go to the academy, I have a breakfast, and on the morning I just watching news, because it's kind of strange for me just eating in a quiet, and no sounds, no any sound at home. Yeah. And when I come back from academy, I just have a dinner, and I just watching TV for like a background to hearing something. But yeah.
Yes, my daughter and her family do that too. But I only watch TV when I want to sit down and watch it like this, pay attention, and I do have a few things, but I don't watch TV very much. And so, do you watch TV? Do you watch television shows looking at a television set, or do you watch it online?
Especially the last years, I'm almost don't watch TV, and in my mind, it's not reasonable when you have internet and you can choose whatever you want, whatever you need, with your personal interesting.
Your personal interest.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. But that's not the way we're doing it, although that's changing.
And I hate commercial on TV. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can always, we watch a lot of things that we record. We make a recording of a program and then watch it when we feel like it, rather than when it airs. And that's the good news, because then you can fast forward through the commercials. But my husband is the one who drives the television. And so one of the things that he does is, if we're watching TV live rather than a recording, he always puts the mute on when the commercials come on. So I don't ever pay any attention to them, because that's part of his job. He gets to drive the machine, but then he's got to mute the commercials. It's a good system.
Yeah. So, and one more photo.
Oh yeah, this is good. And so you have two ovens, actually. You have an oven on the wall at the left, and then there's a little oven underneath the stove top. Is that right?
Sorry, what do you mean? Oh.
Is that an oven?
Yes.
And that's another oven way up there. That was in the previous picture. That's an oven, right? Ah, okay, I misunderstood then. What's that thing?
No. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you mean this one?
Oh, that's TV.
Oh, this is TV.
Well, good to know. And so, is that the place in the house where you have a television? Yes. Is that the place in the house where you have a television, or do you have another television somewhere else?
Yeah, we have three TV.
Okay.
TV.
Good.
I will show you next.
Go ahead.
So this is my room. Last time I showed my workplace. So welcome back. This is my room, and I share this room with my younger brother. I sleep on the sofa bed over here, and my brother on the chair over here.
So how old is your brother, Vlad?
18 years.
Oh, so
he started on the first, on the first course in the university. So a little bit closer. And another photo on the left. On the left side, left 3 and 2 central shelves are mine, and 3 ones on the right is the shelves of my brother, so it's a kind of discrimination. I have 5 shelves and my brother only 3.
Yeah.
On my shelves you can, yeah.
You're the older one. That's
Yes. Yeah. I agree with you. On my shelf you can see some kind of books I have ever bought or somebody gave me it as a gift. And as part of collection of my vinyl records and a lot of work paper. I don't have a lot of books because I prefer to keep my library in my tablet computer because it's much easier, convenient and cheaper than to buy a separate book or just borrow a book from someone. So recently, my free time, I read some science or popular science literature, and last time I read more than fiction. And on the right shelf, on the shelf of my brother, you can see a lot of encyclopedias, which I have kept at science school. In the childhood, I read a lot of encyclopedias, and first of all, you know, 10 years ago, internet didn't so popular like in our time, and kids read real books much more than others.
paper books, we would say. Books on paper rather than e-books.
Who is the
And
author?
so,
Who is the author of this? Yes, you're right.
yeah. Yes, well,
Any questions?
I think this is good. This is a real classic kind of lamp that you have. This is called the Luxo lamp.
Yeah.
And it's a design classic.
Yes, I like it.
Okay, great.
So, this is fan-made corner of my brother.
Ah.
He's a crazy man. He's obsessed with hockey, and I force him to hide in the closest most of the fan attributes because he's really crazy. on this photo, you can see maybe only 1% of his fan stuff. He has even the album with where he photographed with all players of our home hockey team, Avantgarde, and their real autographs of every hockey player. So this is the hobby of my brother.
And you don't have time for a hobby?
You know, I haven't some kind of very special hobby. I'm interested at all. I like music. I like literature. I try to not limit myself in only one sphere of life.
Well, it's a good. You're at a good age to do a lot of exploration, and that's great. You should say. I know I don't usually say something about grammar or vocabulary, but you say something that is a common problem, so I'm going to point it out now. You said, I'm interesting in everything, but you need to say, I'm interested in everything. And the difference is, I'm interesting. Because it makes me an object. You know, look how cool I am. And so I'm interested means my interest is focused on whatever. So that actually is something tough about English that a lot of people seem to have trouble with. So did you ever have a phase, a period of time when you were into hockey like this?
You know, in general, I'm indifferent to watch sport. Not like my brother. I can spend some time with my friends, for example, to present on some play, but I'm not participate in every play, you know, like a fan.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're almost out of time here, and I have understood a lot more about where you live. Oh, look at that! Gosh,
My living room. just briefly about my room.
Yeah.
I like this big couch. It's my favorite place.
Yeah, I can understand that. Looks, and there's another TV. I see.
Yeah.
And big speakers.
Yeah.
Those are speakers. And those are all the component parts, I guess. We have something like that. I didn't show you a picture of my living room at my house, but
And a small aquarium with a fish. For example, we have a lot of souvenirs like this. It was bought from different cities of Russia and the world. It's just a part of it. You can see.
your family likes to travel.
Yes, but not so often as they wish to travel. Maybe one time per year or per 2 years.
Yes, I see.
Something like that.
Statue of Liberty. She's sometimes called Dame Liberty.
Yes.
And then there's a camel, I see.
Yeah, from Egypt.
And what about this figure?
This is from Yakutia, north of Russia, the country of very, very cold weather for all years.
And is that a frog?
Yeah, this is frog from Thailand.
in our next, the Beloit list, mindset list, and I would particularly like for you to focus on the things that you do relate to on that mindset list. Things that strike you particularly. I have been having fun exploring what things have changed in the last 10 years, because in a way we're talking about, and there are lots of things that affect my life from in 2003, and I would like to talk and hear from you about those things next time. So I thank you all for your very interesting presentations today and all the things that you shared. I love hearing about Omsk. And so does anyone have any questions or comments before we close? Okay, if not, then we will look forward to seeing you back here next week. Thank you, everyone. Thanks. You too. Goodbye.
Have a nice week.